Hello, folks. I'm Rob Beliveau. Welcome to All Aboard with Rob Beliveau. Glad to have you here listening to this podcast, which for the first time ever is going to be shot in video. So this is a big moment for us. And joining me today for this bookmarked moment in Neon Train's history is Layla Zia from Toronto. Hi, Layla. How are you doing?
Hi, Rob. I'm good. How are you?
Great. We're going to get all the video jitters out in this episode, so thanks for bearing with us. It's going to be really fun, and super excited to have you on the show today. Have worked with you for over a year now in the capacity that you have. Why don't you tell the listeners yourself a little bit about who you are and what you do, and what the Toronto Centre for Learning and Development is all about?
Yeah, of course. So, my name is Layla Zia. I came to Canada in 2018 to pursue my master's, and after that, I started working here. I've been in the nonprofit, at the intersection of nonprofit and education system for over a decade now.
Wow.
And right now, since 2023, I started working with a Toronto Centre of Learning and Development, which is a nonprofit located in downtown Toronto on the East End. And the main purpose of the center is we support newcomers. Basically, we support newcomers in their journey. When they come to Canada, they want to enter the job market, they want to enter higher education, and there are so many barriers out there. Myself as an immigrant completely felt that, lived that, every bit of it. So we support newcomers in three main levels. One is specifically newcomer women through our Immigrant Women Integration Program, which is created for newcomer women who want to enter the social work sector. So it is a full year intense educational program with placement, with all hands-on experiences, and through 2 cohorts per year. Another one is academic upskilling, which is specifically for folks who want to enter higher education or enter admin jobs, and they're looking for upskilling their numeracy skills, language skills, and digital skills. That's that. Again, a full year program. And another one is actually our little social enterprise called Regent Park Sewing Studio, it's been running out for the last 10 years, but folks who learned sewing from their mothers, grandmothers, aunts, and their
incredible.
family. Yeah, through all over the world, they come. They teach sewing classes they teach sewing skills to other folks who are interested to learning. It happens in 3 levels, and after that, we have a streamline of employment opportunities for the graduates.
How big is that sewing program? How many people are involved in that?
That's a very good question. So, the sewing program, we have over 100 graduates per year.
Wow.
And yes, we have all sort of things. We have annual fashion show in the neighborhood, which is an actual thing. Over again, 100 to 200 people attend.
You're gonna have to let me know when that's happening again.
You need to come to Toronto.
Yes. I want to come check that out.
Absolutely. It always happens in August. So if you're in town, just shoot me a message.
I will. So you have the sewing and the upskilling program. Just to give some of our listeners some context to the amount of folks that you're helping, which is commendable. How many folks are in that upskilling program that you're working with?
So the upskilling program, every cohort is around 10 students. So the upskilling program and the IWIP program is smaller because of the amount of time that it takes
to complete the programming.
Yes, exactly. So each of those programs per cohort are 10 students, and we run
Hmm.
2 cohorts for IWIP and 3 cohorts for AU per year.
Interesting. And before your arrival,
Hmm.
obviously the Toronto Centre for Learning and Development has been around for a while. And
Yeah.
how were they delivering these programs prior to your arrival into the
Hmm.
organization?
So even before my arrival, so when around the time that COVID hit,
Hmm.
the center already had the idea of all of the programs were initially all in person. Right now,
Okay.
everything is hybrid. But even before COVID hit, the center had the idea of moving to the e-learning world to be
To
able to
blend the
serve
learning. Yeah.
more people.
Yeah.
Yes, and to be able to serve more people, especially because, well, our main focus in the beginning was really local, like Regent Park, St.
Hmm.
Jamestown, and the
So you probably
surrounding
had to
area.
focus on smaller geographic areas because it was in person
Exactly.
and you had to rely on people, and particularly probably using local transit and other not other
Exactly.
areas that it's harder to get into the in-person sessions.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. But then, like, the center realized that, oh, the demand is actually much higher than these
Hmm.
neighborhoods, and we have the capacity to deliver that, but the infrastructure that is needed to take in place is an online learning. So
Right.
even before the COVID hit, we were going through, the center was exploring that option.
Hmm.
And then after COVID hit, everything was online, and the center was working with another organization to deliver the
Hmm.
online learning program. When I got on board, it was basically around the time that we switched from that platform to Brightspace to Neon Train.
Right.
And that switch happened specifically for different reasons. One, we found that the user experience was very important to us. The user
Hmm.
experience
Hmm.
is specifically for our students and also for our staff, because staff at nonprofit has a lot in their
A lot on
plate.
their plate. Yep.
Yes, and the last thing you want to do is to make things complicated for them.
Right. Right.
So we were looking for the most user friendly, simple solution to be able
Hmm.
to actually most interactive one, the one that has more options in terms of to be able to deliver the core message that we want to
Right.
deliver,
Yeah.
and to have everything in one place. So that was one specific reason. And the other reason was that there were times with the other platform that we were running into issues, and
Hmm.
we didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
As non-IT experts, as not even IT experts, but not the one who deals with that platform, with every bits of that
Right.
platform every day.
Right.
We ran
You're really
into
focusing on being specialists in the area that you want to deliver your training and content, and not have to focus on the IT related functions of running a system, a platform, and all the
exactly,
nuances that come with that. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. So as you've made this transition now, you're in Brightspace, and we talk often about the use of Brightspace in nonprofits and different associations because, as you indicated earlier, some of your folks are looking to get into higher education institutions and
Hmm.
move on in their education. A lot of those institutions use Brightspace, which is
Hmm.
will make their technical adoption a little easier. What are your learners saying about your programs now in this
Hmm.
new era of working in Brightspace with us, and the how you've hybrided the learning? What are they saying about that?
The funny thing about it is that before we moved to Brightspace with the other platform, our instructors needed to check in with students constantly. Hey, did you
Yeah.
check? Did you log into the platform? Did you check in your new? Right now, we don't have to do that. Like, they love it, and they love it so much that whenever the first thing that they open the computer and they want to log into our system, the first thing they do before like log into their email is log into Brightspace.
Wow.
So
Wow.
I
That's
think I
awesome.
think yeah. So I think mission accomplished already.
And remind me, are you even using some of those the tools we have to do automated email reminders, intelligent agents. Are you using that to help motivate learners to get in the system?
We do. We started doing that. We
Yep.
haven't done that from the beginning, but we started doing that for basically like all the, hey, did you check out did you check out this content? Or
Yep.
recently we learned that, oh, we need to tell the learners to like enable the email notification,
Right.
so
The
like
profile
they
settings. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, so they get like the announcements in it. And the so part of aside from the learning that we do, for example, in the announcement we post lots of things around, hey, this is it's Black History Month, hey, it's Truth and Reconciliation Day, and all of that. And
Hmm.
these are the action items that you can take on. And we've seen the conversation happening. We've seen the
Wow.
people come and be like, hey, I saw that post, I actually went clicked on that link,
And
that
went and
was a
looked at
very
that other
useful.
learning. Wow.
Exactly.
Wow.
So yeah.
So it's really become, in many ways, a bit of a communication hub as much as a learning hub
Exactly.
for your organization. That's incredible. There are so many ways to use online learning systems, and particularly Brightspace, that always. That's what keeps me going every day, is hearing these new innovative ways of keeping learners
Mhm.
engaged, and hearing the story that they want to check that out before they even go to their email is
Yeah.
awesome. So those learners are apparently enjoying, the learning that you've been building and teaching with the assistance of a platform like ours and Brightspace. What have the outcomes been in those programs, now that there's probably over a year and a half using Brightspace?
Mhm.
How are you finding your retention rates of learners? How are you finding
Mhm.
the actual upskill training, the effectiveness of that? Yeah, how are
Mhm.
those learners progressing past the Toronto Center for Learning?
Yeah, it's been actually great, especially because the now the learners have easy access to their material. So
Right.
it's also the fact that, for example, one of them wants to apply for a job and they have the
Hmm.
workforce development course, all the material over there ready for them. And we found that it's actually learners have become more independent in
Oh.
taking their actions. So I think really easy access and user friendly access to that end really enables them to
Hmm.
also take initiative and be more independent in their learning. Or another thing that we found out is that we also offer a few Google certificate Coursera courses for all our learners, which
Hmm.
are completely like user learner based, nothing
Okay.
to do with us. It's an
Yep.
optional thing that they can get on. We just enable the certificate and all of that. The number of people who got onto those learnings has increased, and I think that
Hmm.
has to do with the fact that they were like, oh, I actually know how to navigate the online learning system, so I can do
Right.
the self-paced thing as well. I don't need necessarily an
They're finding it
instructor.
easier because of all their
Exactly.
work they've done with you.
Exactly.
Wow.
So actually, we can say that the amount of skills that they're building throughout the program has actually increased. That the capacity has expanded in independent learning. So I think that's a very very crucial result outcome that we were looking into.
That's incredible. So the learners are getting more outcomes. They're increasing their capacity to take on more
Hmm.
learning outside of even the programs that you're offering as part of your core. How
Exactly.
are the instructors feeling in this transition? Going from all in person to now
Yeah.
using technology like a learning management system,
Hmm.
having their emails replaced by things like these intelligent agents that get sent out.
Yeah.
Are they finding it more burdensome? Are they finding more time in their day? How are they feeling with this whole transition?
So I think the transition at this point was a little bit time consuming because we had to develop our
You had to
content.
build it up, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
had to build it
Yeah.
up, and that's what I'm hearing from our instructors. That yes, this year has been tough. This year has been like a lot in terms of
Mhm.
developing everything, but I actually know what to do next year. And now I believe that everything is much easier for the next academic year. That's
Right.
what one thing that I'm always hearing from our instructors, that
So
okay,
they're
so
seeing that light at the end of the tunnel. They're seeing that
exactly.
efficiency. Yeah.
Exactly. And like, for example, one of them was like, so I realized that a cardion, for example, feature is best for my use. So,
Right.
that realizing what works best for your content, what works best for your
Hmm.
students, that's a learning curve that you need
Hmm.
to be very hands on
Hmm.
within the system with your students, going through day by day to be able to get that insight, basically, that
Right.
wisdom. And I think, but that route
Yeah.
has been intensive, but has been much easier than what they have experienced before.
Right. Yeah, we've we've worked with lots of providers like yours that go through this transition and often try
Hmm.
to make the first course the perfect course. And I often talk about perfection paralysis, that you
Yeah.
get stuck always trying to make it the best you can, but
Hmm.
really the feedbacks that's going to make it the best in the long run is getting that first course out there, not being afraid to let the learners give you that feedback, and they'll direct
Exactly.
what tools worked for them, what prompts they need, what additional supports they need, and then instructors can receive that feedback and make the next course better, and the next and the next. And it sounds like you're on that, over that hump of getting the
Exactly.
learner feedback, and the instructors are hopefully feeling proud and feeling rejoiced that they're getting that feedback from the learners.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Exactly. Yes.
So that already sounds like a bit of a lesson or
Hmm.
advice you would give to another nonprofit or association that's considering, going on this online learning journey.
Hmm.
Do you have any other bits of advice that Layla today wish she could go back and tell Layla of a couple years ago, starting this journey, that would
Hmm.
be helpful for somebody listening today in a nonprofit association or any organization, quite frankly? You
Hmm.
wish you had known. What are a couple pointers you might want to give some folks?
I would say just work together. Like when we got on board with Neon Train, one thing
Hmm.
was that I was working with you. We were working with another facilitator at Neon Train. We were
Hmm.
working with another support person at Neon Train, and at the same time, from our end, I am the manager of operations. I am hands on. Our programming lead is hands on. Our instructors are hands on. One thing that I remember in one of our meetings, I told you that, you know what, actually, I think the next meeting, maybe I need to call on my instructors, and all of our team needs to be
Yep,
in this
I
training with
remember
you.
that.
Yeah, so I think it's just not in nonprofit sector. This is, I think, a very, this mindset, this happens a lot, that we're trying to do everything ourselves. We're trying to do
Yep.
everything, and we're thinking, oh, all of our staff is having a lot on their plate, so let's not
Hmm.
involve them and all of that. But the truth is, all these learning curves would get
Hmm.
easier if we all work together. So having a team from Neon Train
Hmm.
helping us, and having a team from Center of Learning and Development to get on board with that, I think
Going
that
through it together. Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
that made it possible for, we were only a year, but I believe all the outcomes that I shared here has been above 1 year. That happened because both teams like work together. So when you find a supportive provider, when you have a supporting staff, it's just the magic happens when you all come together and know your parts and work through it.
Yeah. Well, we've been honored to help you on the journey. It's been really fun, and I always say that I learn every day from the providers I work with, and I've certainly learned from you and your team, and understanding some of the some of the social fabrics that you're
Mhm.
impacting with your learning. And I've said many times, I didn't give up 20 years of public service to stop caring, just caring in a different way with education, and certainly working with you and your teams has been very rewarding. So some amazing tips there for other folks listening, and thank you for sharing those
Yeah.
insights. I think they're very meaningful, and they're replicable, which is really
Mhm.
helpful, I think, for people listening. um, what's next for the Toronto Centre of Learning and Development? What do you have on your roadmap that in the next 3, 6, 12 months you're hoping to achieve and pull off with your programs today or programs in the future?
So I'm very happy to share that Center of Learning and Development got registered as Carrier College recently.
Oh, wow.
So we are looking into expanding our audience through our current programs and the programs that we're going to have on our Carrier College, and deliver what we envision that we can deliver some fully online and fully remote courses and programs using Brightspace. Yeah, I think that is our big vision for the next months and even years to come.
That's exciting. That's
Yeah.
exciting. Well, I had heard that was maybe going to be in the cards, but you've actually told me now, even for the first time. So that's
Oh,
that's incredible.
well, that's a
Um,
recent news.
yeah. Well, congratulations on that. And
Thank
while
you.
we always like to be supportive and part of your journey, the work you've done and your team and your instructors is really what is making that impact. And I think that's what's incredible about what we're doing together. So, really appreciate you and your time today being on
Yeah.
the podcast with us. Hopefully, for anyone listening out there who's thinking about the journey, wants to get online, not sure where to start, that some of today's podcast has helped you out. Layla, thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you, Rob. Thank you for having me. It's always amazing and joyful having a conversation with you. This is not an exception.
And you have one bit of homework from today is you're going to have to
Okay.
let me know when the sewing shows are happening, the fashion shows, because I will come up and we'll check that
Absolutely.
out. Amazing.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks to all of the listeners out there who have listened or I guess watched this podcast. If you have any feedback or thoughts for today's show, or if you'd like to get in touch with Layla, email us at allaboard@neontrain.com. Be happy to make the connection. And thanks everyone for jumping on board. Talk to you next time.